Hello, Shawnee Alliance Church. It's Pastor Chris. I'm coming to you from my office today. I want to share with you what's going on as we continue to respond as well as we can to these interesting times in which we find ourselves. Quick update on Sunday morning. We have not made a final decision about whether or not we will meet in person here at the church. Now, I will let you know the decision has been made. We're not just going to cancel church. We may move to an online-only option, which would be at 11 o'clock. If we do this, we'll communicate it by Friday afternoon because we want to give us time as a congregation to make arrangements. If we do this, I hope that you'll join us through watch parties, that you'll invite your friends, because we still want to have the best community we can, even if it's digital. Now, of course, our prayer is that we'll be able to have services in person. Here's the question I've been asking myself. Can our Sunday morning in-service gathering be as safe as going to the grocery store and getting a gallon of milk? We don't know how to answer that yet. The truth is we're still praying. The truth is we're still looking for the updated new numbers as they come from the Ohio Department of Health and the Center for Disease Control. We want to make one decision, and we want it to be the best decision we can make for this Sunday. We don't think it's wise to do that right now. We think it's wise to wait. And the good news is, having been streaming for over 2 years now, if we need to move to online only, it's a very simple thing for us. Our only concern is having enough time to communicate with our congregation. So start looking Friday afternoon for updates through social media, through our website, and of course, if we have your contact information, we'll send it out through email as well. We have made a decision regarding how we'll handle student and family life ministries. If we meet in person, we will not offer K4 Kids nursery or student ministries. The biggest reason for this is we do not believe we can turn the rooms around in time to offer this for our services. In other words, we have about 15 minutes between the end of our 9:30 service and when our families begin to arrive for our 11 o'clock service. We have too many kids and we have too much square footage to be able to do the kind of job that we would want to do for you and your family. So we're not going to offer it. We thought about bringing everyone together, but again, we also had to deal with the fact that kids are kinesthetic. They move a lot, they touch walls, they touch crayons, they touch paper, and we don't want the kids to have to sit still in the children's ministry and just look forward. Now, if you choose to attend with us in person, then you have the option of bringing your family and you can sit together. We trust parents to be able to be wise with the decisions they make with their children. If you attend worship together, you'll be able to sit together, and we will keep the same number of chairs out so that despite a much lower attendance, you'll have more room to spread out. Your family can sit together and families can, give each other a little bit of distance. We have made some decisions we want to communicate regarding our other ministries. Again, our prayer is that if at all possible, we're going to keep our Sunday morning service in person an option. Now, that being said, to do that, we've had to make sure we're not meeting throughout the week here. The truth is a lot of time and resources go into making sure our facilities are clean on a normal week. The amount of resources during cold and flu season increases. And with this outbreak, the demands are even higher. We don't think that we can have groups coming in and out of our building as normal and keep the facility at the state we need it to be. So, we have asked all of our groups that meet to not be meeting at this time. We will continue to make these decisions on a week-by-week basis. We're not going to make a decision now for the rest of this month and all of next month. We do not believe that to be wise. We believe that to be too chaotic. We want to see what information comes in so we can make great decisions. Now, if you're a group leader and you want to continue to meet digitally, please reach out to us. We'll be reaching out to you as well. The best way to coordinate all these things at this time is to just simply use prayer@shawneealliance.com. If you're a group leader and want to meet digitally, we will set you up, and the church will provide a software called Zoom so that you can continue to meet digitally. You don't have to pay for it. We're going to take care of these things. And of course, I know you're not asking for prayer when you're asking for that, but we're coordinating all of our response through this one spot, prayer@shawneealliance.com. We're going to have additional needs that come up, especially reaching out to some in our congregation. If you would like to be a part of our response, please, again, just volunteer your time at prayer@shawneealliance.com. If your group normally meets on campus, it's not going to be meeting, and we feel terrible because we have many community groups that like to use our facility. While that's a blessing for us to provide, the truth is that right now, we cannot fulfill those obligations. We have begun to cancel the rentals that are in place for this week and for next week, and we are not taking any new rentals at this time or requests for the use of our facilities. Again, we hope this is a very short-term measure. We hope that much of this is not going to have to be utilized, but we're also being prudent in our decision-making in case we do need to make some changes moving forward. Now, I know a lot of these things can cause fear. I don't want them to cause fear. And in fact, what I love is I got to see the faces of several of our students as they gathered together with our youth pastor Josh digitally. Now, of course, our students had no problem figuring all this out, and neither did Pastor Josh, but I got to see the smiles on their faces and the notebooks they were taking notes in, and just the ability to gather and what it meant to them. We're going to continue to offer that to our students, and we're expanding that to the rest of our families as well. For children's ministry, Miss Erin will be making videos that she can release that you can watch with your kids. It's going to be a lot like our teaching time on Sunday morning, and I know your kids want to be here in person, but they're not going to be in student ministry this Sunday. They're not going to be in children's ministry this Sunday. Keep praying for us. We want to make great decisions. We refuse to contribute to the chaos that many of us are feeling. Instead, we will only be bringers of peace. That means making good decisions, even if those decisions take time. Here's what I want to leave you with. There's so much to talk about, but here's what I want to leave you with, and we'll update more tomorrow. When in 1 John, John talks about love, and he talks about God in the 4th chapter. I love how he says this, that God is love. Whoever lives in love lives in God, and God is in them. This is how love is made complete among us, so that we will have confidence on the day of judgment. In this world, we're like Jesus. There is no fear in love, but perfect love drives out fear, because fear has to do with punishment. The one who fears is not made perfect in love. Don't hear this as a rebuke. Many of us are fearful. I get it. This isn't a rebuke on how dare we fear. It's instructions for how we deal with fear. One of the reasons that we refuse to contribute to the chaos is we know chaos leads to fear. We're not okay with that. When people become fearful, they make foolish choices. When people become fearful, they hurt people around them. How do you get rid of that fear? There is nothing in my experiences that makes me so confident in my own abilities that I would never be afraid. This can be a scary time. Having to explain to my own child and for students in the church, and even just talking with staff and volunteers, I know people are scared. And to an extent that's okay, because this is a weird time that we're living in. But I don't want to live in fear. I don't want you to live in fear. How do we cast that out? Not through our own power, that's for sure. Not through our own understanding. See, it's God's love in us that fills us to an extent where we have no room for fear. It's our confidence in Christ, who has already won every battle, that causes us to not fear. Our confidence in Christ doesn't mean that Jesus will do what we want in the way that we want. That's not what it means at all. Our confidence in Christ means that we have no reason to fear because we are His, and He has already provided all that we need.